That's a beautiful start to the program. God is so good. How he ordains everything. See, Satan, he will try to distract, throw curveballs and everything else. But we ducking and dodging today because it will not prosper. Wow. Y'all getting what you need. All right, we got some more. I'm so excited. I've seen this young lady just flourish in coming into her own. Imani Watson, she is a financial management analyst. Her bio could go on for days because she's like a serial entrepreneur making delicious cupcakes. She has rare creations selling apparel and everything. She is a boss babe. She is just doing it at such a young age. When I was her age, I couldn't even wipe my nose properly. And here she handling finances, running businesses, wrote a book, an author, speaker, just doing it. Imani's going to share her testimony. I'm not going to give it all to you, but the title of her presentation is Pray and Get to the Goal in Grace. I announce to you, Miss Imani Watson, pray and get to the goal in grace. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Lift your hands in this room. Fill the house with glory if you know he's an unstoppable God. Nothing can stop him. Pain can't stop him. Sickness can't stop him. Death can't stop him.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Imani Watson. I'm 24 years old. I am from Calvert County, Maryland. How many know there is power in words? The meaning of my name means faith. If my mom could raise her hand, my mom is Randy. I don't believe I was given that name by accident. I really believe truly at birth that name was given to me for a purpose. I walk every day in faith and not by sight. Any idea or any vision that God gives to me, as long as I go in prayer and I'm locked in with my mom or my family for their support, I go get it. I really call it tunnel vision, really. Because you'll get so distracted by the outside world, other people's opinions, that you'll lose focus. And I don't think that's the way it should be. I think you should go get it. So now I will say my story. I remember being a little girl, and I always seen my mom make ends meet with what she had, really. And it was never easy for her. And I just remember seeing her always, by any means necessary, that's what she says, I'm going to get it for my babies. And that hunger has always fueled me to want to go get it. So I remember just like wanting things, and I said, I want to start a business. I want to work. But I was like 14, and I was like, I can't work. And I remember going to my Aunt Danielle, and I said, Aunt Danielle, I want to work. And she's like, okay, well, let's go in prayer and ask God what it is that you can do, or what business that you can start so you can, start your entrepreneurship. And we prayed, and not even 3 days later, God gave me the idea of selling cupcakes. I started from the bottom. I don't even know. I remember doing vending shows, so that's why when I'm really particular about my setup, I just remember when I went to Walmart and I just had paper setups, and I had brochures that I created on my own at Calvert Middle School. So I'm really picky. But I started the cupcake business, selling them for $2. And I remember walking my walk in middle school and high school, and I said, well, I want more. So, of course, I seek God, and I'm like, what is it in business that you want me to do? Because there's so many different majors. I was always told that college was never an option. So at that point was really when I started looking and seeing what majors there were that sparked my interest. And that's when navigating, I was really like focused, scholarships, all A's, because that's just how my parents taught me. They said education come first, the fun will come later. So that's just how I've been. So I remember in high school, my senior year, I really love fashion. So I remember I was like, why can't I could just wear my own brand. Like people always compliment me on what I'm wearing, the sayings, the quotes that I have on. So I'm going to start my own clothing line. And I remember doing the research and finding a wholesaler. And I said, Ma, I'm going to start a clothing line. And she said, do you need anything? And I said, no, I'm good. I got it. And I remember going and getting the invoice and just doing the work on my own, and seeing what it really meant with no education, no knowledge. I mean, my mom, she's an entrepreneur, but it's not exactly the same as what I wanted to do. So I remember starting my brand, Rare Creations, which is here on the screen. I started it at 17. It stands for Rise Above Regular Expectations. I feel like you should never do the bare minimum. I feel like you should rise above that. If someone gives you a task, do more than what they're asking you, because they'll see within you that, hey, like she's committed, like she wants to do this. They'll see that passion, they'll see your drive. And that's how it was with all my teachers, people in the community. When they see me, I'm going to address everybody with a smile. I'm going to treat everyone with respect. If someone's dishing something at me, you'll see that what I show to you will be nothing but respect. So that's my brand. I do have my merch over there. And I remember going through my college journey, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to do baking and pastry or if I wanted to do business or what major. I still didn't have a major in mind. So I went on college searches, and we went down to North Carolina to Johnson and Wales, and I prayed, and I'm like, Lord, please help me with this major, because I know that I'm going to be putting forth money, and I need to know what major it is that you want me to do. And they ended up telling me that they had baking and pastry and that they had business. So I said, this has to be the school for me. And it was a stretch because I'm super family oriented. I'm at my grandma's house every Sunday for family dinner. That's just how close we are. And that was hurtful because I had to leave my mom and I had to leave my family in Maryland. And it was scary because all I knew was them, really. But God just told me, like, if you go, if you put yourself out there and you follow my lead and my will, I'll pull you through and get you to the finish line. So I went and started my career, and I faced some things, bullying that I've never experienced before. That was hard. And of course, like I said, my family had my back, but I didn't want them getting in no trouble. So I was like, no, we'll be fine. And I was like, I want to go back to Maryland. And I remember crying and I was praying and I was like, I don't know if I can finish out school here. And he was like I said in the beginning in 2017, stay the course. So I remember one day I was in class and my professor came up to me and he said, hey, Imani, like I said, I always made those connections with my professor. I was the kid that stayed after if I didn't understand something because I was determined to get it. And he said, we're starting the one-year master's program, and I feel like this next year, upcoming year, and I feel like you would be a good fit. And I'm like, master's? I don't know, and I'm only 20. This is going to be a lot. And I talked to my mom and my dad and my mom were both like, go get it. go after it. Like, there's no stopping you. And I remember I completed my bachelor's in 3 years instead of 4. So I wasn't having to stay in Charlotte if I didn't want to. I finished early. And I came back home. I worked full time. I have my MBA at this point. And I worked at Enterprise, washing cars, customer service, everything. I feel like every process, you literally are learning something with every place that you go, every place that you step. There were good days, there were bad days. I had to wash cars, I had to vacuum cars, I had to deal with all kinds of stuff, but I learned from it. I really did learn from it. And it also helped me with my own business, a different perspective in business. So while I was working at Enterprise, I worked the ladder, but I knew it was just a stepping stone for me. And they loved my selling. They loved that, and I, at the same time, completed my master's degree. So I'm truly grateful to God for doing all that. And while I was there and I would interact with customers on a day-to-day, the number one question was, who's your current employer, is what I had to ask the customers. And those couple words, I started listening to what people were saying. And they would say DOD or Department of Defense, or they would say, I'm a federal contractor, whatever it was. And I was like, well, where is this place at that's so close and all these people are coming here? Because I want to get in the federal government. And I believe that when you speak positivity into yourself, and you should keep fueling that in your own ear. I don't care if you have to put sticky notes on the mirror, if when you get in the shower, you pray every morning and you basically are telling God what he wrote in the Bible to yourself. You're speaking those blessings over yourself. And I remember just kept saying, you're going to get at that facility across the street, which is a naval base, and you're going to get in the federal government. I did everything. I applied, and I got that call, and I was like, yeah, God heard me. He really did hear me. And I remember going on the interview, and I was nervous, and I was like, but you got this. And I've never seen it, nobody else. I think I got in the government in less than 6 months. And they said that I got the position and I got the letter, and I was like, yeah, God, you really did that. And that same year, my mom became a realtor, and I had been saving since 13, literally. And I mean, they provided, but I was saving. I was doing what I was told. And I remember my mom being like, I think you be good at being a homeowner. And I'm like, huh? Like, I know I want to be on my own, but an apartment maybe. But when I say I'm like with filing and money management, like on it, your parents, they see that in you. And she was like, I'm not going to tell you any wrong. I'm not going to just throw you out there. And I remember starting my journey with becoming a homeowner. And of course, I prayed about it. And I knew, too, that I was ready. It was something new because I live with my mom. And all this stuff was happening. And, people will say, like, just enjoy the blessings, like God's doing, like he has a purpose and a calling on your life. And I'm like, I know, but it's like, I don't know. So I remember starting my journey. And if anyone knows, when you're becoming a homeowner, it is not a walk in the park. There's a lot of hurdles and hoops and everything that you have to go through, from credit to everything, really. And I remember when it came the point where I had to start looking for houses, and we were looking at houses, and I was like, yeah, this is not it. This is not it. This is too far. And I was just really like discouraged. I was like, I don't think I'm going to find anything in this market for me. And I remember looking through a house, And I walked through and I said, God, if this is the house and it's in your will for me to own this house, everything will go smooth from A to Z. There won't be any hiccups. There won't be any setbacks. And I literally was saying that through every door, outside the house. And I just remember going to church. And then when I was on my way home, while I was driving somewhere, and my mom called me and she was like, yeah, Imani, they accepted your offer on the house. And she was like, you're a homeowner now. And I'm like, what? Like, it was just like, I don't know. But I thank God for that. So that was a lot. So all that happened by the age of 22. All glory to God. I would not have been here without him. And I just remember as I'm working from the government, learning that, because that was totally new for me, being a homeowner on my own, just out of college, all this stuff happening. My family and I had planned to go on a trip. And I took off, we paid all this money, and 2 days before the trip, my Aunt Danielle said, we're not going. I said, Aunt Danielle, this is a joke. We have to go on the trip. Like, what are you talking about? I took off everything. And she's like, we're not going. God's telling me that we're not going. And I remember that I didn't call my supervisor and say, hey, I want to work now. I stayed at home, and my mom had kept saying, because I had a dream and God was telling me to write a book, and don't know nothing about, writing a book by any means. And my mom was like, just start writing. And I had never wrote. I just knew the title. Like, he had given me the title, Pray and Get to the Goal in Grace, but I had no words, no nothing. And I remember in 3 days, I wrote this book by myself in those days that we were supposed to go on the trip. So the reason why that trip was canceled, I wholeheartedly believe, is because he wanted me to start and finish the book. So although in that time I couldn't understand why she didn't want us to go, but I think that that's why we didn't go on the trip. So I wrote it. I started the journey of really everything, the manuscript of the book, everything, just making connections with people, because I didn't know the map out of writing a book. So I did my part, wrote my story, but within it, I didn't want to just tell my story, because some people may be older than me or somebody that may be in middle school that want to do the same thing as me, but I still wanted to fill it with tips and tricks on how they can do it as well, and encouragement, because I feel like when you don't share knowledge and you hold it in, that's not good. You're not empowering the next person. So the book is not your regular black and white book. I don't like boring books. So it has from entrepreneurship to homeownership to credit to just everything. I just wanted to put my spiel in the book. I just know that God is up to something with everybody. It's not just me. So just trust him, really. I mean, everything is a divine alignment, and where you step in, where you go, he's got you. Just trust him. So, yeah. So if you guys would like to support me, my table's right here. I have my paperback books, hardcover books, and then I have my merch. So I have t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hats. So thank you, guys. Thank you.